Most wellness platforms focus on soothing you. They offer guided meditations and deep breathing exercises to quiet the noise and validate your current emotional state. The Being Human ecosystem takes a different approach. It operates on the premise that emotional distress often stems directly from flawed critical thinking and poor metacognition. Metacognition is your ability to track, evaluate, and regulate your cognitive processes. The underlying science suggests that to resolve interpersonal conflicts, you have to accurately formulate the problem and weigh alternative solutions. Analytical reasoning is a mandatory prerequisite for true psychological well-being. This path diagram maps the empirical data. It shows a direct structural link flowing from critical thinking on the left through metacognition in the center, straight to psychological well-being and empathy. Training your cognitive skills actively improves your capacity to understand others' viewpoints and regulate your own affective responses. Achieving genuine wellness requires the exhausting work of rigorously auditing your own mind, evaluating your biases, and shifting your perspective, rather than simply seeking temporary comfort. This brings us to LogicLab, Being Human's flagship tool for navigating interpersonal conflict and internal dilemmas. Instead of asking how a conflict makes you feel, LogicLab strips away identity, tone, and emotion to evaluate the raw structural architecture of your argument. The system calculates a rationality quotient, a metric that scores the logical soundness of your input. It explicitly refuses to offer moral judgment, legal advice, or therapeutic empathy. When you are emotionally raw from a dispute, does running your argument through a strict fallacy detector actually bring relief? Or does it turn you into an insufferable debate bot? LogicLab's true return on investment depends entirely on a user's hidden capacity for emotional resilience. Imagine you've just had a massive argument with a partner. You type your side of the story into the app, looking for validation that you are in the right. The free tier processes your input by parsing the messy, emotional text into clean, connected logical nodes, mapping out the exact structure of your claims. Within seconds, the system generates a high-level verdict and issues a failing rationality quotient score. You came seeking comfort and validation, but the app just handed you a failing grade on your personal grievance. The algorithm aggressively strips away the vital emotional context, your tone, your history, your exhaustion, to isolate the objective truth. LogicLab operates entirely on System 2 thinking. System 2 is the slow, cold, deliberative reasoning process we use for strict rule-based logic and complex calculations. Forcing an emotionally distressed person strictly into this System 2 framework can backfire. When you're upset, clinical analysis can spike anxiety and cause deep feelings of invalidation. Objective truth, when delivered without empathy, can actively worsen your emotional volatility rather than resolve it. For users who want to see exactly where their reasoning failed, there is the premium LogicLab audit. This tier unlocks fallacy detection, attaching warning labels like globalizing directly to failing nodes. It points out your cognitive distortions, but leaves an empty space where therapeutic advice normally goes. You are entirely on your own. It takes immense emotional heavy lifting to read a clinical breakdown of your own flawed thinking without immediately becoming defensive. To help with this, the audit includes an optional logical reframe feature, offering a structured alternative way to view the conflict. This reframe forces you to rebuild your perspective from scratch, evaluating the facts free of your initial biases. To survive and actually utilize this reframing process, you have to engage System 3 thinking. System 3 integrates cold logic with your human values, identity, and future goals. It is how we make meaning out of raw data. System 3 acts as a bridge. It prevents you from rejecting the harsh System 2 data out of pure emotional spite, allowing you to simulate outcomes and adjust your behavior. LogicLab doesn't resolve the conflict for you. It merely provides the diagnostic blueprint so you can do the grueling metacognitive work yourself. Because the tool is so blunt, recommending it universally to anyone in distress is irresponsible. This scenario match evaluation chart helps determine who actually benefits. The y-axis maps emotional volatility from low to high. On the x-axis, we map the need for objective resolution, also from low to high. Our first target archetype is the analytical professional. This is someone with a high need for strict resolution, but low emotional volatility. They land right here in the bottom right quadrant. For workplace disputes, this app is highly effective. It provides immediate structural clarity for users who are unburdened by interpersonal baggage. Our second archetype is the gaslit individual. They have a high need for resolution, but they are also experiencing high emotional volatility. They plot into the top right quadrant. In these situations, LogicLab is a vital grounding tool. It anchors victims to undeniable facts, cutting through manipulative emotional narratives. The final archetype is the emotionally overwhelmed. This user has a low need for objective resolution, but high emotional volatility. They land in the top left quadrant. If you fall into this category, you should avoid the app entirely. If you are in active grief or simply need someone to listen, having an algorithm mathematically grade the rationality of your pain will cause immediate psychological harm. LogicLab is a flawless mirror for cognitive clarity, but ultimately, it is up to the user to manage the emotions that come with looking at their own reflection.